Alright, today I'm going to be taking a look at the SanDisk Extreme Pro micro SD card. I'm going to be comparing that to the SanDisk Extreme without the Pro. And here I've got the SanDisk Extreme. I'm going to try reading and writing files to see just what the performance is. So I'm going to be using a card reader. I'm going to start out with the Extreme. Of course, this is going to vary depending on the equipment that you use and the file types that you are recording. So right now I've got that drive open and I've got a bunch of these GoPro files. They're all around 60, 70 megabytes. Alright, so right now I'm getting 63 megabytes per second. Yeah, purity consistently 62, 63 megabytes per second. So I'm going to stop that. I'm going to do Crystal Disk Mark. We'll just do the one. Okay, yeah, we'll do all. Okay, so this is actually reporting a write speed that was higher than on my test. So I was getting about 70 megabytes writing and about the same for the next level down. And we got 93 megabytes read for the large files and about 8 megabytes for the very tiny files. Now I find that these numbers are the only ones that really matter because if you're doing small files, most of the time they're, as soon as you start writing them, they're written. But if you're doing a ton of them, of course, that's going to affect it. For me, since I'm going to be using this mostly for GoPro and like if I put it in my phone, something like that, that's going to be mostly these large files. That's what's going to be affecting it. So I'm getting 90 read and about 70 write. So let's go ahead and try the Extreme Pro. Okay, so with this one, I'm getting 73, 74 megabytes per second, so it's basically the same, maybe a little faster. And let us try Crystal Mark. Okay, so the test is about done, and what we got here is that the reads all the way down the board are basically exactly the same as the Extreme. The writes on the small files are also the same. The only difference is the writes on the larger files. These are reading at about 85 megabytes per second, so it's somewhere around 10 megabytes faster than the Extreme on writing only on large files. So if I was going to be putting this on my phone and I wanted to put a lot of videos on it for like a long airplane trip or something like that, then the Extreme would be just as good as the Extreme Pro. You would just be losing money by using the Extreme Pro. So the only benefit to this is if you're going to be putting this in a camera or something like that, it's going to be using high bitrate recording. Or if you just want to be able to transfer files to the card really fast because you want to be in and out as fast as you possibly can, or if you just want the best possible experience that you can get. But for me, I'm going to be putting this in my camera and I don't want to have any bottleneck whatsoever for recording what's going on from the camera to the card, especially if I'm going to be doing something like a high-speed recording or a high-resolution recording. I want to have that as fast to record to the card as I possibly can. If I'm trying to record on the camera at a bitrate that is higher than what is possible to record on the card, then it's going to buffer. There's going to be some skipping, some stuttering. It might just stop recording. There could be any kind of number of problems. So for me, the Extreme Pro goes in every camera that I'm going to be doing any kind of recording in. This for me is just going to be for backup storage, and it's perfectly fine for that. And it's still really good because you can see it's only about 10 megabytes behind the Extreme Pro. So I would still much rather have this card than some of the other off-brand cards because this is still an extremely good card. It's just the Extreme Pro, it's just a little bit better. Sometimes you want to get everything you can.